So just, I always like to start meditation as a way of relaxation. And I'm hoping to use maybe metta as the guided meditation for today. However, we need a bit of a peaceful mind before we can bring up metta in our hearts. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time first, really deeply relaxing. So make sure you sit in a way that is comfortable and that your upper body is upright so that you stay a bit awake. And bring up a smile into your face because that helps to relax and ease into here and now much easier. Also tell yourself that you want to be here and experience the relaxation and later on the metta. So that instruction will help you not to doze off if you're tired into kind of a sleepy state or restlessness, thinking about things. So this is the time just to be here and fully aware of this present. Starting with body awareness, just you can ground yourself to here and now if you wish, using the touch sensations of your palms and feet touching the ground. So using that as a grounding agent, you can allow yourself to relax. Just take a few moments to see how your body is. If there are any tightness in your body, just send a bit of affection and allow it to ease and relax. As you're relaxing, as you're settling into this moment here, see whether you can bring up a bit of affection in your heart. Affection is that very, very gentle feeling of like, love, care that you have to someone, maybe a friend, a dear friend. Affection is a very sweet and gentle feeling that we all know. Since we are little, we have been able to bring up that very sweet feeling of affection. So try to get in touch with that very gentle feeling inside. As the affection is building up inside of your heart, you can gently allow it to spread towards your friend. Just accepting the person, seeing their good qualities, and appreciating them. That friendship, that care, that gentle affection. Now you can imagine that your friend is also sending you some affection, very gentle feelings of acceptance, friendship, and care. So open your heart and receive those feelings of affection and allow them to spread into your body and into your mind. Allow yourself to feel those feelings of affection to spread to every single cell in your body, healing your body, energizing your body, and bringing up happiness into your mind. It is nice to receive affection. It is nice to be accepted. It feels nice to be cared. You can remember a time that a friend has been caring for you, offering you friendship, and those very gentle feelings of love and affection. immersed in these feelings of affection, allow your mind to become still. Allow it to settle down into here and now. Anytime if the mind is going here and there, you can always use the sensations of the arm and feet to ground yourself. And again, become aware of feelings of affection in your heart. And as you are becoming still, if you notice the natural flow of your breath, you can stay with the feelings of the in breath and the out breath, just knowing, just watching and paying attention to the breath coming in naturally and the breath going out naturally. And as we are coming close to the end of this meditation, take a few moments to see how you feel now. See whether you were able to bring up some affection. Were you able to spread affection? Were you able to receive affection? Did some joy started to come up in your mind? If you wish, you can take 3 long, deep breaths. And at the end of the last one, you can open your eyes and come out of meditation. Today, I thought about talking about the 4 brahmavihara, which is also known as the 4 divine abodes. Nice name, isn't it? 4 divine abodes. So the 4 are in Pali, metta, that is loving kindness, karuna, that is compassion, mudita, that is sympathetic joy, and upekkha, that is equanimity. So during this talk, I will sort of explain what are the differences in these 4 different brahmaviharas, or the different types of 4 meditations, because for some people, some of them seems like very similar. For example, like metta and compassion seems quite close, but there is a difference. So it's nice to be able to know what is the difference, when we need to be doing this, and all those things I will cover as the talk progress. But in the beginning, I want to say a few things about what is the benefit of cultivating these 4 types of meditation. So especially during the last Dhamma talk, where we were talking about how to face difficulties in life, or how to build up strength, how to stay strong during difficult times. And one of the means was to build up loving kindness, metta, or any one of the 4 meditations will work. But also in previous talks, when we were talking about dealing with the difficult situations, difficulties in life, suffering, we have done quite a few Dhamma talks along those lines, various aspects of our sufferings and difficulties in life. And during those times, even how to remove resentment, about guilt and remorse. In all of those Dhamma talks, I did mention either using metta, that is loving kindness, or building up compassion, that is karuna, or even equanimity, right? So these things have been very, very helpful. So this is why I also sort of think that the title maybe of this talk will be using brahmaviharas as a flu shot, for all the illnesses, especially the illnesses of our mind. But also these are very helpful ways of curing illnesses in the body as well. Now, I can't give you a reference for this, but I have seen, and you may be able to see research and find out that people have done quite a bit of research, even during COVID, the effect of metta, for example, loving kindness meditation, whether that did have some benefit in building up the immunity towards COVID. And as far as I can remember, they did find some very positive results. Yeah, there is a correlation between the mind and how the body works, because our bodies naturally have a lot of good things, like good neurotransmitters that act as even medicines that can heal our body. But our body also has the ability to secrete some chemicals that act as poisons and create problems and sickness, cancers, and all other kinds of physical problems as well. So these 4 types of meditations are helpful, both as a way of healing the body, but most importantly, healing the mind. So that is a very good incentive for us to be able to learn how to build this up and use it in our life as a part of our practice. Yeah, this is very helpful. And the other interesting thing is, some of you may have heard that when somebody develops metta, for example, or any one of these brahmavihara meditations, divine abode meditations, that they have protection against a couple of things. Yeah, they say somebody who develops metta or loving kindness, compassion, and things like that, they have protection from fire, that they have protection from weapons, that they have protection from poison. Actually, there are 11 benefits of even cultivating metta. Yeah, it says that, are the human beings like you? Yeah, anybody who is a very loving, affectionate, kind person, they have many friends, right? Because it's very pleasant to be around somebody who is like that. So human beings like them, the devas like them, they have protection against these things. They say, I'm not telling in order because I can't remember all the 11 benefits, but you can read up Metta Anisangsa Sutta. I think it is in the Samyutta Nikaya, is it Anguttara Nikaya or Samyutta Nikaya? Anguttara 11th, okay. Yeah, in one of those suttas. And your complexion becomes beautiful, it says. And even you get protection from a lot of the dangers. So, and also, if your death happens, you die unconfused. It's important, isn't it? At the time of death, to have a sharp, bright, good mind is very important. Otherwise, it's very scary. We don't know where we are going to be born. So it is important that we die with a clear, uplifted, energized, good mind. So there are many, many benefits. But then again, I want to also tell a story, give some perspective about this, because especially about the protection from fire and poison and weapons, maybe. Because somebody might think, no problem, bushfire season, I don't have to do anything. I cultivate lots of metta, so me and my family and my house will be protected. or somebody might even try, think like this. But is that the fire that the Buddha is talking about? Now I'm going to tell a story from the suttas. I can't again give the reference. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare. But you might be able to search this. This is the sutta about Queen Sama. Do you remember who was the king? Was it King Pasenadi Kosala or one of the kings? I can't remember. One of the kings, Queen Sama, was the main, queen number 1. And then queen number 2 was called Magandia. This is the female Magandia. There are 2 Magandias in the sutta. So queen number 2 was Magandia. So Magandia was quite jealous of queen number 1, Queen Sama, because of course she felt that the king loved queen number 1 more than queen number 2. So out of jealousy, and Magandhya is not a very nice person. There are other suttas in the canon where Magandhya's parents thought that Buddha would be a good husband for her. So actually her parents were trying to propose her. She's quite a beautiful lady. But of course, Buddha is not interested, right, in getting married or anything like that. So when the Buddha refused, she got very angry and upset with the Buddha as well, because she couldn't take that rejection. How could somebody reject me? I'm so beautiful, so very proud of herself and her beauty and everything. So this was the character of this Magandhya, Queen Magandhya. And Queen Sama was a good disciple of the Buddha. She would, really practice, listen to the Dhamma, and she also had about 500 friends, and they were all meditating together. They will go on retreats, discuss Dhamma. So they were really disciples of the Buddha. So Queen Magandhya also couldn't stand that, because Buddha was her enemy. Imagine, there were people, even at the time, even a Buddha. So for some people, they thought that's how strong their defilements were. So anyway, this is the character of this Queen Magandhya. So she was trying to get rid of this Queen Sama. And it is said in the sutta, one of the practices that the Queen Sama and her 500 friends were doing were the metta meditation. They were very good at meditating with the 4 brahmaviharas. That was their main practice. So they were quite good practitioners of that. But at one time, when they all had a retreat, they were all inside this hall meditating together. And Queen Magandhya took the opportunity, and she got people to lock up the whole building from outside and then set the whole building on fire. So while the fire was coming and there was no way Queen Sama and her 500 friends could escape, so she had instructed the friends to continue the meditation, and they have just continued their meditation. And they all, of course, died. Yeah, all of them. Queen Sama and the 500 friends died. I think the Buddha was saying, even though they died, they got burnt by the fire and they died, they all became non-returners. That's the last stage, yeah, just the 3rd level of enlightenment. And they went into the Brahma realms, and from there, they would get enlightened. Right? So did the Buddha contradict himself then when he said anybody who is perfecting and doing this metta meditation, karuna meditation, have protection from fire? And these ladies were really practicing them to its highest level in the sense up to metta jhana, yeah, karuna jhana. So the jhana levels, that's why after they died, they got reborn in the Brahma realms. That's the outcome. So yet they got burnt, right? So they did not have protection from the physical fire. So what is the Buddha saying when he's saying in the Metta Nisangsa Sutta that you have protection from fire? Also, the Buddha uses the term fire for the defilements. Yeah. So the Buddha says in quite a few different suttas how we are all burning. Yeah, we are burning with 11 fires actually. So lust is a fire. Just take a moment to think how you feel when lust comes up very strongly in your mind. Yeah, when lust comes up, it actually feels like burning. When anger comes up, this is very obvious. Yeah, when anger comes up, it really feels like burning. And then moha, the delusion, yeah, that is your sense of self, your ego comes up, yeah, the feelings of I know, who are you to tell me kind of feeling, yeah, you know how that is burning, yeah. And then the Buddha says birth, old age, sickness, death, being separated from your loved ones, having to be united with difficult people and difficult situations, yeah, sorrow, lamentation, grief, despair, all of those things are burning us. So we are technically burning with 11 fires, yeah. So these are, in other words, the defilements of the mind. The defilements of the minds are burning us. Our mind is being burned. Yeah, take a moment to think about it. So we are burning with these fires, and these four divine abodes, this loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. If we develop them, make them like a very strong practice, then what we have protection is protection against these defilements. Yeah. This is really beautiful to see, beautiful to understand, because this is the biggest feeling, right? If we just burn with fire, we will die and we will get reborn again. But our real suffering is in these defilements, these fires of defilements that burn our mind. That is the cause of all of our mental health issues, right? All of these suffering, difficulties that we talk about all the time. These are the unbearable fires. Really, and these are burning us constantly, yeah, for some people, all the time, every day, or many times in the day or weeks, yeah. These fires are the hard ones. So if one develops these brahmavihara meditations, then they have protection from these fires. In the suttas, Buddha talks about the defilements as poison, because that also kills us in a way, right? It's very painful, but also as weapons. So when we talk about protection against these things, really what the Buddha is referring to is not the physical fires, the physical poison, or the physical weapons. So don't be silly and go in front of dangerous people or try to swallow some poison to see whether your metta is well developed. You will be doing a silly thing. So that's why I also brought up the story to show what kind of fires that we get against protection against. So this is important, and it is inspiring, isn't it? So it is inspiring that we are able to develop these things. And the next thing that I want to mention is that when is the right time to develop these brahmaviharas? Now, I have known of people, seen some people, when they are angry, they know that antidote for anger is metta. So they try to say, may you be well, may you be well. And they're screaming it out, so upset and angry. Right? Is that metta? Absolutely not, right? When the defilements are in our mind, we can't do these meditations, yeah? So the really highest form of these meditations happen after jhana, after samadhi. But that does not mean that we can't practice them before that. We can and we must practice, but the highest level of spreading and radiating proper metta comes when the heart is purified. So, it's through a purified heart that all these beautiful feelings of kindness, compassion, love, sympathetic joy, and equanimity come. So, an arahant is somebody who can really spread these things. But never mind, we too can do that. But remember, when to try and do metta meditation. It is not to be done when your mind has a lot of gross defilements. If you're angry, irritated, agitated, and jealousy, lust has come up, fear has come up, at that time, that is not the time to do this. Yeah. The idea is you do this when the mind is reasonably peaceful, when the mind is reasonably calm, when the hindrances at least a little bit down, then you start doing the process. And when you start doing this, then the hindrances and defilements go down even more, and this makes your mind powerful. And you become powerful in this meditation, and you do it again and again and make it a habit, do it very frequently, then you will notice the defilements, the gross defilements may not come up so much. Yeah. Even if there is a difficulty happening, you will be, when somebody's shouting at you or you're faced with difficult situation, metta or karuna, whatever meditation is appropriate, will spring up in your mind. But it is springing up in a mind that is calm, that is with the defilements a little bit down. This is also important to understand the real metta. Otherwise, what you're doing is something, I don't know what. It's not really proper metta. Just sitting down and parroting it out, may you be well, isn't going to really help. And you will also see that it doesn't come up. And also why I use the word affection is something we know, isn't it? Like, did you ever learn the technique how to become angry? Did you have to read some books and some notes, and did somebody have to tell you how to get angry? No, right? Even when you were so little, you were naturally able to get angry easily, yeah? So, in the same way, you also might remember, even as a small child, having affection, yeah, affection to your mom, affection to people around you, even affection to your pet dog, little kids giving hugs. You see them very pure and very sweet, a very gentle, very simple form of love with not much attachment, nothing like that. Just I like, I love, I care, I'm your friend, that kind of feeling. Again, we didn't have to read books and learn and do anything. That is also something that springs up in our heart. So they are natural states that we have access to in our mind. And in fact, metta is very much that feeling that you grow and allow it to grow more. Because as we grow up with all our, views and things that we grow up, all the, of course, not the right view, the wrong views and concepts and our ego and all of those things, sort of blunts that ability to bring up affection. So I'm not sure, depending on how your day was like today, I don't know whether you were able to even bring up affection. There are days and times it is hard for us to bring up even that simple form of affection. And there are days and times that we can bring up affection. So you can see what is the difference there. Notice next time when you want to bring up affection and you can't bring up affection, what is your mind like? And you will notice there are gross defilements. Either you're irritated, you're angry, you're sad, you're upset, you're jealous, or lots of lust in your mind, or desires, confusion, anything is there. And those are the times affection will not spring up in your heart. But other times, when you're a lot more peaceful and calm, when the mind has energy well rested, you'll see it's quite easy. Just somebody just mentioning about it, bring up affection, it'll spring up in your heart quite easily. So that gives an indication. So these are those kinds of states, yeah, the affection, kindness, sympathetic joy, and equanimity are related, and these kinds of feelings. So this is important to know as well. So how to start? So if you want to do metta meditation, take quite a bit of time first to settle down. Yeah, bring up some joy, remembering something good, or calm yourself. Do other little techniques, or do some walking meditation to calm down. So do that, and then start bringing up a metta. So that will be a bit closer to the right form of mind. And metta is a mind state, yeah? So it is important to understand. So now I would like to maybe mention what is the difference. So what is metta? So I also took a long time. I've also gone through all of these explorations to understand, thinking metta is something so strange, so different, so complicated, because you hear all kinds of things. So you're trying to figure out what exactly is this metta feeling. By now, I have really come to understand that very gentle feelings of friendly affection, that is metta. I'll tell you the story. So one rains retreat, I was actually at Jhana Grove. This is in Western Australia, the meditation retreat center. I spent about 4 months there by myself in the nun's cottage, and Ajahn Brahm was around, and I wanted to really bring up metta. I was thinking, I have no metta. I want to try to learn to do metta. What is metta? So I've been asking all these questions to Ajahn Brahm. And all Ajahn Brahm was telling me was just sit down and just bring up the word love. Then I was arguing inside this is my stupidity, right? How can love be metta? Love has attachment. That's not metta. So this is what, but I think he just meant that very simple form of love. Anyway, so I was really trying to figure out what metta was. And even though I was on retreat, my family came to visit me one evening. And I have a little niece who is about 2 years of age. So she's just in that process of trying to learn various different things. And she has just learned that when you come and meet somebody, giving a hug is the first thing to do, because she sees her parents when they visit some of their friends, they give a hug, right? So she has just learned this concept, but she didn't realize that when you meet a monastic, she didn't know who a monastic was. So she didn't know me and my difference. I might look different, but she didn't know what a monk or a nun was at that age. So she didn't also know that you don't give hugs to monks and nuns. And she didn't realize her parents didn't do that when they came to see me. In her mind, her thing was she was ready to come and give a hug. So I saw she coming towards me with her arms spread out, trying to give me a hug. So of course, she's only like, very short and small. So I went down onto the ground level to receive her hug. And it was a really beautiful, sweet hug. Right. And I'm not somebody who she's attached to. She hardly sees me. So she doesn't know anything much about me. But yet she gave this really beautiful feeling. I can still remember and recall that. Yeah. The feeling of receiving that beautiful, pure form of love from my little niece. And I realized at that point, that's metta. Yeah, that's a very simple form of metta: friendliness, acceptance, kindness, all of those things in there. And that's what Ajahn Brahm has also been trying to say: not love for your, spouse or to your parents or to your child, not any one of those where there is a danger of attachment, but this very simple form of love. That is like when you see somebody else, little kid, or even some pet, sometimes you have these beautiful feelings, right, of affection. So that is the starting point of metta. Usually that comes when you see good qualities in another person, when you appreciate somebody for who they are. Yeah, when you see good qualities, that is when you decide that they are your friend. You have kind of friendship towards somebody. You have that care for that person, and there is a form of love towards that person. So that is, to me, metta. So this is different, right? This is one form. If it is clear, I hope it is clear. But anyway, that's the closest way of trying to say. And words and concepts can never express and explain. One day you are going to discover it in your own heart, and you will have an aha moment, and you'll say, now I know what really metta is. But listening to this and hearing this and contemplating the possibility of this being metta may be helpful. So how is metta different from karuna? That is compassion. Now that is a very specific form, and that comes when you see the suffering of another. So when you see somebody is suffering, the feeling that comes up in your heart of us feeling that may you be free from suffering, that is karuna. Not when you see somebody suffering, the feeling of feeling sad and upset and going down in suffering together with them. That is the danger. But that's not karuna. Karuna is really when you see somebody suffering, going through a hard time, your heart warms up and you have the feelings of, may you be well, may you be free from suffering. So that's quite a different state to metta. So metta had that friendliness, the very simple form of love, care, seeing goodness, good qualities in a person, and they're not necessarily suffering. They are in a good state, but you still have those beautiful feelings, yeah, of affection. But when it comes to karuna, that is purely the wish of somebody to be free from suffering. So it's quite different. And sympathetic joy, or what you call as mudita, this is actually the opposite of jealousy. Yeah, think about it. So when you see somebody get something good that you want, sometimes jealousy comes up. So we know what jealousy is about. Yeah, envy is about. You don't have to read books about what jealousy is. It springs up in our heart from time to time. Mudita is rejoicing in going, wow, good on you. I'm happy for you. I'm so happy that you're doing so well. I'm so happy that things are going well for you. That kind of really rejoicing in seeing the goodness of another, good things happening for another person. This is again very different, but yet very beautiful feeling. It has that kind of happiness, a joy, and seeing something nice and rejoicing. Yeah. So good on you. If you really say it with the heart, that's actually great. I have a story. Like when I first came to Australia, I was a uni student. So my first time. And then whenever I would go, I used to go for a walk by the river. And when I'm walking, a lot of people, say hello. And if we like at work actually, if there's something, if I say something, I really hear this say, good on you. So I think, wow, they're really happy for me. So, I mean, some people probably saying it automatically, but if you really mean it, if you are really happy, instead of feeling jealous when you see somebody's doing well, if you really say sadhu sadhu or good on you, I'm so happy for you, that feeling, that is mudita. Anyway, so you can see that's different again, right? It's different to metta, it's different to karuna. So this is mudita. And equanimity is that very stability of the mind that stays quite still, but it is not still in with a coldness. Yeah, it's not like a cold mind who's like a stone, unmovable. Anything happens and they just don't move, they stay like a stone. Not quite like that. Yeah, equanimity comes from wisdom, not from stupidity, not staying there like a rock, not understanding, not ignorance is bliss kind of thing. But this is equanimity, is understanding. It comes from right view. It comes from understanding things for what they are. So this is where you understand when things are you are going through a difficult time. Maybe you realize, well, this may be due to karma, like, karma vipaka, like causes and conditions. Maybe it's a result of that, and you're able to sort of accept it. Or I have in the past mentioned how you understand if all the experience, whether it's an experience of sight, whether it's an experience of sound, whatever it is, that only lasts while that contact is there. Yeah. When you contact the world with your eyes and see something, when you contact the world with your ears and hear something, feelings get triggered. The feelings are either pleasurable, painful, or neutral. But it's only those three types of feelings, and they only last for a certain period of time. They don't last forever. So it's only that much. Once you see it again and again and again in your life, then your mind develops this ability not to get swayed about these things too much. When difficult things happen, also you realize, you become aware, your mindfulness says, it's only this much. So you're able to, with patience, wait with equanimity. So equanimity and patience are quite close in the mind, yeah? So this is one form of equanimity, of course. This is the much lower form of equanimity. And even when there is a pleasurable, nice time is going up, you're also not getting overwhelmed and excited about it because you also know it's only this much. Yeah. So your mind becomes a lot more stable. It's a quite a nice, cool, beautiful state to be, because wavering in either direction, like a pendulum going on one to the other, whether it's pain or pleasure, they're both exhausting. It can be exhausting. Even what worldlings call as pleasure is actually perceived as painful by the enlightened beings. So all that is there is pain arising and pain passing away, but it's just the scale. So the lesser kind of pain, most of us perceive as pleasure, really, but there is pleasure, but the real pleasures are the the meditative states, yeah, the piti, pasadi, sukha, those are the real pleasure states. But most others that we talk about in the day-to-day life are other forms of pain, really. But whatever it is, it's only that much. When we see, I have in the previous talks spoken quite a bit about how to bring the mind into, maybe I might, if we have time, express this as well. So that stability of the mind that is not wavering, that is equanimity. So that's quite different again for the four, right? Not like loving kindness, not like compassion, not like sympathetic joy, but it's cool, it's stable, it's pleasant. But of course, the highest form of equanimity is the mind state in the fourth jhana, right? The mind is completely still. Mind is completely unmoving. So you can see also, like when the mind is moving, any movement of the mind is painful. But also, even joy states by that time is lesser compared to, because joy states are there in the second jhana and even the third jhana. Yeah, and the mind it goes towards equanimity, towards the third jhana and into the fourth jhana. Only equanimity is left. So that is just to give a little bit of an indication of what real equanimity is like. But nevertheless, that stability of mind is also beautiful. So that's probably not really a meditation, not a meditative state. So the meditative state of equanimity is coming from after the jhanas, but the other three we can develop a little bit more even before the jhanas. So this is just to give an idea of these types of meditation, but still the idea of equanimity, the stability of the mind, by using wisdom, by using right view, understanding the world for what it is exceptionally helpful for us to become stable. Yeah, so this is where we can use the idea of equanimity or the stability of the mind to help us in day-to-day life. Yeah, this is still useful. And one of the ways that I develop this kind of equanimity is when the life is going mad. Yeah, I mentioned this in a previous talk as well. It's like a river after the floods. Yeah, lots of rapids. It's flowing very fast. It's muddy. It's yucky, and everything is floating on it. Right, bicycles, chickens, dogs, trees, tires, contents of houses, everything is flowing very fast. It's a mess. So sometimes when we are going through a difficult period, our life is like that as well. Or samsara in a bigger way is like that. Yeah, the cycle of being born again and again, this cycle of birth and death is like this. Yeah, it's like a flooded, a river after the floods. Then I imagine that there is a rock outcrop on the river, and the rock outcrop does not get washed away. It stays there, it's stable. And I imagine myself sitting on top of that rock, stable and peaceful. And as I see all of those things floating, the dogs, the trees, the bicycles, everything floating, I know at that time I can't go and help and do anything. Me getting upset isn't going to stop anything. All I can do is to understand this is life. Yeah, welcome to samsara. This is what the Buddha said, the difficulty in life, right? When we are born, we are subject to all of those things. We forget the small print of our contract when we sign to become born. Yeah, when we are born, sickness happen, difficulty happen, difficult people come into our life, difficult situation happen, pandemics happen, wars happen, all kinds of environmental disasters happen, our house burned down, there's cyclones, all kinds of stuff, right? You lose your job, you have financial difficulties, all of these things. are there. This is part and parcel of being born, existing in this sensual world. Yeah. So when we see, well, this is the nature, this is what the Buddha said. Yeah. Birth is suffering. This is what the Buddha said. So using whatever aspect of right view, this is all of the teachings of the Buddha. If you apply the teachings to understand the situation that you're going through, then if you understand it, if insight comes up, if some wisdom comes up, to that degree, you become peaceful. You are able to deal with it a little bit better, yeah? Because you understand. So you're able to stay with a bit of patience. So in the beginning forms, the equanimity is quite close to like the idea of patience as well. You're waiting there with a mind that is a bit peaceful, with a mind that has a bit of kindness, with understanding, with wisdom. So that stability is quite nice to be able to. So when difficulties are happening, instead of allowing your mind to get, flown or blown away by those things, if you use wisdom, that can be helpful. Even though it's not a really equanimity proper, that is still helpful to start that process of getting rid of gross defilements. So after that, you might be able to bring up like something like metta, like simple forms of affection, or karuna if it is a difficult situation or a difficult person. We have spoken about these things, understanding the conditioned nature of a difficult person, why they are being difficult, all of those kinds of aspects, and you can bring up more compassion in your heart. And with that, you might be able to build it up into equanimity. But anyway, the purpose is not to go so deeply into very aspects of this, just to show the differences in this meditation. When is the right time? What are the preparations you need to do in order to do these meditations? And the last thing that I want to say before I end up or wrap up this Dhamma talk is these 4 brahmavihara meditations, metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha, was a practice before the time of the Buddha. Right? Even all of the other religious people at the time of the Buddha or time before that and the Buddha were also practicing these 4 states. So then one day, this is coming up in the Metta Sahagatena Sutta. Now this one I can give a direct reference. This is coming up in the Sangyutta Nikaya, Bojjhanga Sangyutta. That is the chapter 48, Sutta number 54, I believe, called Metta Sahagatena Sutta, accompanied by loving kindness. In this sutta, some of the monks from the Buddhist tradition, they were going to go on alms round, and they realized that they were a little bit early. So they decide, okay, it's a bit too early. People are not quite ready to offer alms. So we might just go to a nearby another temple, which is not a Buddhist temple, another sect of practitioners. So this was common. So sometimes they would go and interact with different people, different ways of practicing, and get in with some discussions. So when these Buddhist monks arrived at another place, those people who were practicing also, they said, we also practice these 4 brahmaviharas. And you also practice 4 brahmaviharas. So what's the difference between us? We must be all the same then. So why are you all, the disciples of the Buddha? And how are we different? Because we seem to all be practicing the same thing, metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha. So the monks, the Buddhist monks, didn't quite know how to answer this question. So they kept quiet. And when it was the time, they went on alms, they had their lunch, and after lunch, they went and saw the Buddha and expressed to the Buddha what happened, explain what happened. Bhante, in the morning when we were going on alms and when we went into see these other people, and we were asked this question and we did not know how to answer. How should we answer? So the Buddha says, what is the difference between how we as a Buddhist practice this metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha, and how it has been practiced in other religions. Even today, loving kindness and compassion, these are meditations that are found in other religions as well. You know, Buddhists aren't the only people who meditate, right? So there is a difference. So it is important. And I will also mention, I'm mentioning this because some of the Buddhists also meditate in the wrong way, these things. So some people think their job is to practice metta and give metta to heal the world. Yeah, heal angry people, make your friend, all kinds of, use their metta to make somebody who's sick well. Have you seen these kinds of people like coming? So that is actually dangerous. It actually builds up your ego as being you are good, they are not doing well, and you are the one here sending metta to make somebody else better. Look at it for a moment. Is that a Buddhist way of doing things? It might have an effect. Your metta might have an effect. But if that is what you're trying to do, this is not the right way. Yeah, your metta is not to really make your difficult person easy to work with, get your boss to give you a promotion, or deal with the difficult person at work. This is not really how you do it. Yeah, you are not spreading metta. This is the wrong way to do metta. This is but how it was practiced in other religions. They were trying to heal, spreading metta all around, up and down, in all directions and everything. But the idea was to heal the world. That healing may happen, but it will happen only from a very powerful mind. So if you have like a metta jhana and you're spreading metta, some form of healing may happen from a powerful mind, but yet again, that is not the purpose of the metta. So this is what the Buddha said. So the difference is that in the Buddha's dispensation, the purpose why you do metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha, this meditation is for something else. So he says, if in the future somebody asks you what's the difference in how you practice metta and how we practice metta, then ask them, kim gatika, kim parama, kim pala, kim pariyosana. So that is kim gatika. What is the way that you develop your metta? Kim parama. What does it have as a leader? King Pala, what fruits do you get as a practice of metta? King Pariyosana, what is its ultimate end? Yeah, if you ask these four questions, then the people from the other religions will not be able to give the same answer. So in the Buddha's dispensation, why we practice these four brahmaviharas is the Kim Gatika. So the way we develop this is the way, as we are practicing metta meditation, for example, the 7 bojjhangas, that is the 7 factors of enlightenment, should come up in our mind. Yeah, so as you're developing metta, sati, that is mindfulness, is increasing inside of you and becoming an enlightenment factor, a bojjhanga. Dhamma-vichaya, that is investigation of states, will come up as you're building up metta. That is the way to build up metta. So metta is developed by seeing, good qualities in a person, or investigation of the Dhamma. So something like this. So anyway, and then as you see that, energy comes up. As you're building up metta meditation, the enlightenment factor of energy comes up. Then the 4th one is piti, rapture comes up. Then tranquility comes up, that is passaddhi. Then samadhi, that is the stillness of the mind, and upekkha, equanimity, also comes up. So the way that we ask to practice metta meditation is not for anything else, but to develop the 7 factors of awakening, the 7 bojjhangas. And then the Buddha says, it already gives you an indication, the purpose, but anyway, the second one, what does metta, for example, has as its leader, King Parama? The sign of beauty. Yeah, sign of beauty is what it has as the leader. What fruits do you get? Now, this is also very interesting, and that is like, if you know about enlightened beings, and if you know a little bit about psychic abilities, you know that not all the arahants, not all fully enlightened beings have the psychic abilities. Only the arahants who have developed the 4 immaterial attainments get psychic abilities. But you don't need psychic abilities to get fully enlightened. You only need the jhanas, the 4 material jhanas. But even first jhana is enough, according to the suttas. But you don't have psychic abilities. Only some of the enlightened beings have psychic abilities. But there is one psychic ability that is common to all of the arahants, and that is the ability that you become, and all the arahants are masters in their perception, sanya, in their perception. So they have the ability to use their perceptions. They have full control over perception. So particular sanya and particular sanya, and vice versa. For like all 4 are gone. That is like you can perceive what is repulsive as beautiful. You can perceive what is beautiful as repulsive, or you can perceive what is beautiful as beautiful or repulsive. You can perceive what is repulsive as repulsive or beautiful. So you have full control over it. It's like this. So you can pick up or touch some vomit, which you think as repulsive and disgusting, as if it was honey. Yeah, this is the ability. This is you need a psychic ability, right? To pick up some vomit from somebody and think that it's honey and it's a pleasant thing. Or you can pick up a beautiful smelling red rose and think that it is something really like a rotten dead rat or something like that. Yeah. So you have full control over your perceptions. So it's very interesting, yeah, when you develop these brahmaviharas, this is the end point. And you can see how you develop these brahmaviharas is also by seeing some of these things. This is where the mental investigation comes up. But anyway, that's the fruit. So you get that ability if you're interested. Your life would be much easier, right? You can see how you get swayed by these perceptions. Eh? So when something is pleasurable and pleasant, you run towards it. When something is painful and unpleasant, you run away from it. Yeah. So you have this fight, constant fight of trying to get to and get away from these things. But if you're able to change your perceptions, you can stay still. You're unmoved. Quite nice state. Yeah. That's why the arahants, their mind are not wavering. These are beautiful verses there. Yeah, they're injita. You know that they're not wavering. Their minds are not wavering and running. They can stay still, whatever it is. They just know it's only that much. It's only made up of elements. That's all it is. Vomit is also just elements, the 4 elements. Honey is also just 4 elements. That's all there is to it. But you know, not easy for us to say. So don't worry, because that's the nature of an unenlightened mind. Yeah. So once you develop this ability, that's the 4 fruits that you get. And King Pariyosana, what's the end result? Full enlightenment. Now you might also have heard some misunderstanding. Some people say you can't use the 4 brahmaviharas to get fully enlightened. You may have heard that 4 brahmaviharas only send you into the Brahma realms, and you might even get stuck. There are all kinds of things that people say, but if you look at the suttas, the Buddha always says the end result of practicing these things is full enlightenment. But if you were not able to develop that much, then you will end up in a Brahma realm, but still as an anagami, and you will still, end your path there. So no problem, yeah? And even Karaniya Metta Sutta, which is the very famous sutta on metta meditation, loving kindness meditation, it also gives all instructions all the way, yeah? Karaniyam atta kusalena. So Yantang Santang Padang Abhisamecha. So one who is seeking for this very peaceful state, looking for that highest goal, this is how they should practice. And the highest goal is full enlightenment. So it is not to be underestimated. So that is the purpose. full enlightenment, reaching there, ending of all defilements, ending of all your outflowings, the asavas, the taints, all of that. That is the purpose of metta meditation or karuna meditation, any one of those. Not to heal the world, not to get your way, not to change your enemies, not those. Those may be good byproducts, helpful. They may or may not happen, but that's not your goal of doing metta meditation or any one of these brahmaviharas. It is for the purpose of getting enlightenment. So think about this for a little while as well, that change the whole process of how you do this meditation. When you have the goals, it's coming from you to another to achieve something. And achieve something that aside from enlightenment. Enlightenment is extinguishment, right? Understanding that there is nobody. Whereas the other way of meditation, there's a duality and complete different way of doing metta. So that is the difference. But the mind state may be the same. The mind states that you bring up as metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha may be the same in everybody who practices this, because that's a specific type of mind. But it is important why you're doing it and how you do it, in the sense you allow those bojjhangas to build up. So investigate the Dhamma, Dhamma Vicaya Bojjhanga. So all of that is there. So anyway, this is kind of interesting to discuss about these things, bring this into our mind, because metta meditation is a powerful meditation. Metta is the most common one, but you can also do karuna meditation, equally powerful and wonderful. Very good thing to do, easy to do as well. These are very good practices in our life, but it is important to know what is the mind state, when is the right time to do it, how to prepare your mind, what's the goal, how is it different. Isn't it helpful? I found it very helpful to understand this better. Otherwise, we may be meditating in the wrong way and may not be getting the full benefit from it. That's the difference. I mean, that's still never wasted. However you do, these beautiful states are going to be beneficial. But if you want its highest benefit, then it is good to hear about these things. These are all, whatever I said, are coming from the suttas, right? Most of it is coming from the suttas. So, and then contemplate them and see how you build up these 4 brahmaviharas and make it a practice for your own benefit. And as you do it, you will see how wonderful it is, how easy your life becomes, you're able to, you are really developing a beautiful resilience to life, which is necessary, right? Otherwise, I don't know how we are going to go forward into the future. The future looks crazy, already present, the things that are going on, the speed that things are building up in the world. It's kind of maddening, So especially that we live in the forest, far away most of the time, in a quiet place. If you have been to Santi Forest Monastery, you know it's like another realm. But from time to time, we do come out into the city, we have to go in public transport, go into the shopping malls, and when we see, my goodness, the life is mad, People are getting more crazy, people are getting more angry, more irritated, a lot more jealous, especially with all this social media and everything. Life is so, and that's why there's a lot of depression in the world, and a lot of sicknesses in the world, a lot of mental health sicknesses are also a lot more prevalent than before, and physical sicknesses. Everybody seems to be quite sick. This is the thing. It's so therefore it's so important that we have this very beautiful teaching, of the 4 brahmaviharas, to learn how to do it. Start from where you are at, whatever it is, never mind, as long as you know how to incline it in the right way, slowly building it up. And this is not as hard as watching the breath, believe it or not. Even though watching the breath is so simple in the sense it's just the breath, but you need an increased mindfulness to start with. Otherwise, you can't stay with the breath. But unlike that, these things are much more emotional. There's a beauty to these feelings, like loving kindness. There's already that idea of affection. It's quite a beautiful state. So it is quite pleasant to do this. Even kindness, compassion is a beautiful state. Yeah, rejoicing in the goodness, it's a happy, beautiful state. Equanimity is a beautiful state. So it has that idea of beauty there, makes it easier. There's a reflection there. So you can do it a lot easier and build it up. And like I did in the guided meditation, sometimes you can use it as a vehicle in the start, and then you can, when your mindfulness increases, if you want, you can go to breath meditation if you wish, but you don't have to. You can use metta all the way as well. So I encourage you to think about, contemplate, and maybe try it out, take it up into your life and see what happens. So if it goes well, you will get doses of vaccination against not only the contagious mental problems and mental problems with the defilements like anger, lust, sadness, worry, panic, anxiety, and all the rest, but also for your physical well-being as well. A lot of the sicknesses in the body also are coming from the mental sicknesses. So this has a lot of benefits. And you can do your own homework by reading the Metta Anisangsa Sutta and see also even at least the benefits of the Metta meditation itself. Inspire yourself and try it out.
Please let us acknowledge another brilliant talk from Venerable. And with great gratefulness, it is absolutely brilliant. Handamayang Sadukang Nadamase.
Sadhu, 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 anumodami. And then do the brahmaviharas work in large part by making one less selfish. Yes, of course. As you become less selfish, because selfishness, self-centeredness, that ego, me, mine, ahankara, mamankara, those things is what stops you from spreading metta. Yeah, but metta or any of those states come as you become selfless. Yeah, as a practice of this, you become more selfless as well. So they go hand in hand. You become more and more selfless as you practice, but the practice also becomes stronger and deeper as you become. That's why I said it's a arahant who spreads metta very powerfully with a mind that doesn't have defilements. It's quite important to see that. But also another really nice benefit of metta meditation to start with is that it has a very powerful way of bringing down the hindrances in a good, efficient way. Now think about for a moment. If you have affection, that like beautiful, loving, friendly feeling in your heart, you feel very satisfied inside, right? That feeling is very fulfilling. When you have that feeling, do you think lust and desire would come up in your mind? Because we have lust and desires for the sensual world come up when we are not happy. Yeah, that is when we run into the sensual world, try to look for things, try to eat something, go somewhere, pick up the phone. All of those things happen when we don't have that affection, that joy, that beautiful feeling. So the feelings of metta, when that is inside of our heart, the true feelings of metta is not lust and love of that kind. Yeah, this is a very, very beautiful feeling which is not defiled. You are so happy. So the first hindrance, kama chanda, has no place. Yeah. And of course, metta is the direct antidote for anger and ill will and negativity, because how can you have love and kindness and have anger? Yeah. And again, think about how you feel when you have these metta feelings, beautiful feelings of affection, strong inside of your heart. Would you be falling asleep? Not at all, right? Your sleepiness, sloth and torpor isn't around. And also when you have feelings of metta, this affection, you're not restless either. Yeah, because your mind is very happy to be here. Present moment is pleasant. So again, the fourth hindrance of restlessness and worry comes down. Of course, doubt is also coming down to some degree. You know what it does, the power of metta, but that's not fully there. But at least, you know, four of the hindrances can be taken care of. And isn't that nice? So that's another good reason to do a little bit of metta meditation even before you start your my breath meditation. So Simran has hands up, so please unmute and ask the question.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused about the brahmaviharas. Is it something that like you cultivate simultaneously, or is it one going up like from metta to compassion to sympathetic joy to equanimity, or is it something that you should practice all together? That's why I'm confused.
Yeah. No, not at all altogether. Never altogether. You can't. That's the whole purpose why I showed you. They are different states. So only one kind can stay in your mind at one time. They're very specifically different. You can't have compassion, that is feeling and friendliness. I mean, friendliness is there, but metta, I mean, it's very hard to say, but once you get to understand what metta really is, that very pure form of affection, but also wishing somebody well, may you be well, is different to may you be free from suffering. So there are different states. These are the two that's quite getting confused for most people, but still it's very different. So you have to figure out the difference. So compassion is quite a different mind state to metta. Only one kind stays at the mind at one time. So not to confuse this at all. So metta is one kind, karuna is another kind, rejoicing in somebody else, being happy for somebody is another kind, and equanimity is another kind. If people try to show you that they can all be in one, some aspects are there in the mind, but if you develop it as a meditation, they are separate. Yeah, you do only one at a time. Whether they build up, you may be able to build up, but it's not like a sequence that you build up necessarily, but they can all lead to, each one of the first three can lead to equanimity, because it leads towards jhana, and fourth jhana is equanimity. So it can lead to, but whether it is building up with the four jhanas, I'm not entirely sure whether that is the case, but one is enough. You can just use metta itself all the way to full enlightenment, or karuna itself all the way to full enlightenment.
So they're not levels.
No, not necessarily, not really. They're different types. Yeah, they're different types. What do you think, Venerables? Have you heard anything otherwise? No? All right. Thank you very much for joining. For everybody, have a nice night. I forgot to tell. Let me tell this at least at the end. Another very good benefit of doing the four brahmaviharas, you sleep well and you wake up well. So anybody who's having trouble with sleep and insomnia, try metta meditation, or any one of those meditation brahmaviharas. Good. This is in the Metta Nisangsa Sutta as well. So you sleep well, you wake up well. Isn't that great? That's great. Okay. So have a good night. Do your metta and then have a nice night.